Hello everyone, Emir here and welcome to part 7 of the Colonial house course. Now to finish this building, I'm going to start by adding the support just below the roof. And to do that, let's first turn off the things that we do not really need. Then I'm going to select our main and our main extra mesh. I'm going to press Shift D, duplicate them, G and Z, move them up. I'm going to press Ctrl J and join them. Then press 1 to go into front view, tab into edit mode and turn on x-ray mode, and I'm going to select all of these vertices and delete them. Now this is exactly where we need to place our supports, so I'm going to build the supports using these vertices that we got. Now I'm going to turn on my snapping tool and set it to increments. I'm going to select these two vertices and I'm going to extrude them by 0.5 meters on the y-axis. Then I'm going to select these vertices, extrude these as well by 0.5 meters on the x-axis. Then I'm going to select these vertices. Be careful not to select those two. Extrude again 0.5 meters on negative y, and these 0.5 meters on negative x. Now we're going to select these two, extrude them on negative y 0.5 meters, and these vertices, extrude them on negative x 0.5 meters, and the other side again positive x 0.5 meters. Now let's just check our face orientation. You can see some of these faces are flipped, so I'm going to select them. Then I'm going to press Q to bring up my quick favorites and flip. Now they're facing the right direction. Now let's do a bit of cleanup here. I'm going to select this vertice, press G twice and move it here. G twice, move it here. I'm going to do the same with this one and 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 this one, and here, and there. Alright, now let's go over to the modifier panel and add a solidify modifier. Let's bring this thing down and place it under the roof and increase the thickness on our solidify modifier. Move it up just a bit, check even thickness, and press Ctrl A to apply the modifier. Now I'm going to press Ctrl R and add a loop cut in the middle of all of these separate cubes. And then I'm going to press G and move all of them up here. Then I'm going to select the outer edges of each individual cube. And when that is done, which is going to take a while, I'm going to press N, and from the item panel, I'm going to increase the bevel weight to 1. Then I'm going to select all of these back faces. Since we're not going to see them, I'm going to delete them. Then I'm going to add a bevel modifier, set the limit method to weight, decrease the amount, set the profile type to custom, increase the segments to maybe around 10. Then from the presets, select cornice molding. Now by increasing the amount, we're going to make it bigger. I think we could maybe use a few more segments. Then let's add another bevel modifier under our original one. Set the segments to 2 and decrease the amount by a lot. Turn it to like 0.002 or something like that. On both of the modifiers, from the geometry dropdown, turn the miter outer from sharp to arc. And from shading, select harden normals. Now I'm going to select all of these top faces and I'm going to bring them down a bit. Then without letting go, I'm going to press Ctrl and plus on my numpad to expand my selection. Then I'm going to press 7 to go into top view and deselect these top faces. Then I'm going to press Alt E and extrude these selected faces along their normals just a little bit. And I think that's fine. Let's just slash out of isolation mode and bring them up a little bit. And this is what we got so far. One little detail that I forgot here is that these planks are supposed to be passing through our top window here. So I'm just gonna select one of them and Shift D, duplicate them and manually place them there. And now I think this is looking about right. Yeah, that's a lot better. Let's go ahead and add a chimney. I'm going to press Shift A, add a cube, then press G and Z, bring it up, press 1 to go into front view, and roughly put it in place here. I want it between the two double windows on the side and one next to it. I'm going to scale it down just a bit on Y. Then I'm going to press N and open the item panel. And from the dimensions, let's enter 1.2 on Y, bring it down, get into edit mode, and bring these two vertices up. It is too thick on the x-axis. I'm going to make it smaller. Let's press Ctrl A and apply the scale. Tab into edit mode, Ctrl R and add a loop cut, bring it up here. Then let's hold down Alt and select this loop of faces. Press Alt E and extrude faces along normals. Then press Ctrl R and add a loop cut in the middle. Press Ctrl B and bevel it. So now we have two loops close to each edge. Let's press Alt E to extrude faces along normals again. Ctrl R, add another loop cut. Bevel it again. Extrude faces along normals. And add one last one. Bevel it and Alt E, extrude faces along normals, and that is our chimney. Let's select this top face, press I to inset it, then press E to extrude it downwards. Then I'm just going to add a bevel modifier, set the segments to 2, from geometry, set the miter outer to arc, and I'm going to decrease the amount. Then let's add an array modifier, set the X to 0 and move it on Y, and then a second array modifier and move it back on X to get the chimneys on the other side as well. I also added these little pipes up here, which I later deleted since I don't understand what's the point of them, so just forget that they exist. Now let's start working on adding some ornamental supports under the porch's roof. Okay, I'm going to press Shift A and I'm going to add a cube. Scale it down, turn on the snap tool, set it to face and snap it here in this corner. Scale it down on X. Let's tab into edit mode, select these vertices, bring them here, and these vertices and bring them up. Let's press Ctrl A and apply the scale. Select this edge. I'm going to press Ctrl B to bevel it. Let's add a bevel right in the middle and move it here. Doesn't have to be exact. Now I'm going to bevel this cut and give this part a round shape. Let's delete these back faces since we're not going to need them. Add a loop cut here, select this face, press E and extrude it downwards. Then add another loop cut in the middle, select this face, extrude it downwards again. Let's make it thinner by scaling it down on X. Let's select these edges, press Ctrl B and give them a couple bevels to make it smoother. Then let's select all of these outside edges and bevel these as well to make the entire shape smoother. Then now that I look at it from here, I think it's too small, so let's just scale it up. Then let's go ahead and add an array modifier, adjust the X factor a bit and increase the count. Let's just scale it down on X because I think that's too thick. And let's just increase the distance between them and decrease the count to like 30. And I think that looks way better. Let's duplicate this, rotate it and put it on the other side as well. Let's duplicate it again and cover the other two sides as well. Then I'm going to add another set of supports under these little roof supports of ours. The process of making them is pretty similar to the ones for the porch. So here's just a quick time lapse. that's that. Let's take a look at what we've got so far in rendered view. Before we move on to adding more details, let's just select all of these supports and create a new collection for them to stay organized for the final stage where we're going to join them together. We also have to use a Boolean modifier to fit the chimneys into the roof. So to make the cutter object, I'm going to duplicate the chimneys with Shift D. Then I'm going to turn on X-ray mode, select these top vertices, and I'm going to press X, and I'm going to delete them. And this is going to act as our cutter object. I'm going to apply the scale, get rid of the bevel modifier. Then I'm going to turn it from texture to wire and press G, bring it back. Since that part is the only part that is touching the roof, we don't have to make the details on top. Let's just fix the array here. At this point, we're basically done with modeling, so I'm just going to turn everything off, and later I'm going to turn them on one by one. Just apply the modifiers, optimize them where necessary, and then turn them back off until we're done with all the pieces. So first we're going to start with the tiles. One thing about them is that we're not going to need those two sides on the back, and they're just extra geometry. They're going to take up memory and make render times longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tab into edit mode. I'm going to turn on X-ray mode and use the lasso select tool from up here, and I'm going to select this part. Make sure to get all the vertices, then I'm going to press X and delete them. Then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do the same thing. When everything is selected, I'm going to press X and delete the vertices. Then we have this part, which is pretty simple to select. I'm going to use the box select tool. Select here, here, and then I'm going to hold shift and press everything in the middle and X and vertices, and we just got rid of almost 150,000 tries. I'm just going to do the same for main extra roof. Then I'm going to hide the tiles and turn on the roof. I'm just going to apply every modifier on all of our supports. I don't want to change anything about them. With this main roof mesh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press 7 to go into top view, then turn on X-ray mode, and I'm going to select these window cutout sections that we created with the Boolean modifiers, and I'm going to move them closer to the edge of the roof so they'll be thinner and it'll be prettier when we're going to look through the windows later on. Then let's unhide all these little supports. I'm going to apply all the modifiers on them. Then when that's done, I'm going to press Ctrl J and join all of them together. Then let's do the same thing with it for the main roof, for the main building. Make the window cutouts thinner. This is before. This is after. Much cleaner, as you can see. The planks are fine. The modifiers on them are already applied. I'm just gonna apply these support modifiers. The window frames are fine. This is what we got so far. Let's apply the modifiers and make these supports shorter where they need to be. Also, these are too short. Let's make them touch up here. Apply the modifiers on the trims, on the porch roof and supports, and apply every modifier on every piece of the porch. Also on these two front pillars, select this face, then Control plus, and press Ctrl plus multiple times and delete this front face since it's covered by the stairs and we're not going to see it. Also apply every modifier on our chimneys and use that cutter object and add some boolean modifiers on this support, on the main roof, and on the tiles to cut everything in. From here, to finish everything, I'm just going to join the tiles together, join some of the supports together. I'm going to put all the empties in a new collection and get rid of all of our cutter objects. Join the bottom trims and supports together. And for the porch, I'm going to join the planks, the vertical supports, the pillars, and the railings together. After a bit of cleanup, organizing, and renaming things, this is what we are left with. Looks great, and we're ready for texturing.